Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. Have you ever paused to think about the history hiding in the palm of your hand? The coins we use every day might seem ordinary, but once in a while, one emerges from the shadows with a story so compelling, a past so rare, and a value so astonishing that it captures the imagination of collectors and historians alike. Today, we delve into the remarkable world of the 1970 Washington quarter dollar, a coin from the United States of America that might seem like loose change to most, but for a select few, it's a gateway into a hidden treasure trove of value, rarity, and American history. The Washington quarter has long been a staple of American currency, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. With the face of the nation's first president proudly engraved on the obverse and the majestic eagle poised on the reverse, this coin became more than just a means of commerce. It became a symbol of national pride. By 1970, the design had been familiar for decades, but the times were anything but ordinary. America was at the end of a turbulent decade, fueled by civil rights movements, space exploration, cultural revolutions, and the looming shadow of the Vietnam War. These events shaped not only the soul of the nation but also the relics it produced, including the coins minted during that period. The 1970 Washington quarter was minted at three primary facilities: Philadelphia, which bore no mint mark; Denver, with a D mint mark; and San Francisco, marked with an S, often for proof coins. Each mint followed standard procedures, but as any collector will tell you, errors and anomalies are often born in the most unsuspecting places. And when those rare imperfections occur, especially during a year as historically significant as 1970, they become targets for treasure hunters and numismatists around the world. What makes some 1970 quarters especially fascinating isn't just their age, but their flaws, specifically, the rare and dramatic mint errors that slipped through quality control and found their way into circulation. One of the most famous types is the 1970 S-proof quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter. Yes, you heard that right. In an astonishing twist of minting mystery, some proof coins from 1970 were accidentally struck over foreign coinage. On these rare specimens, if you look closely at the coin's surface under magnification, you can still see remnants of the underlying design from the original Canadian quarter. It's a visual anomaly that seems too strange to be real, but it's been authenticated and confirmed. And because these mishaps are so incredibly rare, the few that exist have fetched enormous sums in the collector's market. Even without such an outrageous error, pristine examples of the 1970 Washington quarter, particularly those with high mint state grades or exceptional eye appeal, can be worth far more than face value. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A coin graded MS 67 or higher is exceedingly rare because circulation quickly wears down a coin's fine details. To find a 1970 quarter preserved in virtually flawless condition is like discovering a time capsule sealed more than half a century ago. It tells a story not just of the mint that produced it, but of every hand that didn't touch it, every pocket it avoided, every transaction it missed. Collectors also prize certain die varieties from this year. Double die obverse and reverses, where elements of the design appear slightly doubled due to misalignment during the striking process, are highly sought after. These varieties are subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye, but for the passionate numismatist, spotting them can mean the difference between an average quarter and a life-changing find. Then there are off-center strikes, broad strikes, and other minting missteps, all of which can elevate the value of a coin dramatically if preserved well and authenticated properly. Beyond rarity and errors, the 1970 quarter holds cultural weight. It was minted in the same year the Beatles broke up, the Kent State shootings shocked the nation, and the United States celebrated the first Earth Day. Every one of these events shaped the world we live in today, and the coins minted during that time hold echoes of those moments. It's not just metal, it's memory. Every scratch, every luster, every slight variation speaks to a story embedded in the national fabric. So what happens when all of these factors converge? When a 1970 Washington quarter combines impeccable condition, a dramatic mint error, historical context, and unrelenting collector demand, you get more than a quarter. You get a legend. You get a coin that crosses the boundaries of numismatics and enters the realm of priceless American relics, and one such extraordinary 1970 Washington quarter dollar, combining all the magic of rarity, error, and preservation, has stunned the collecting world. It didn't just sell, it soared. That single coin, despite its humble denomination, commanded a staggering value at auction. And when the final gavel fell, the price realized for that one Washington quarter was an incredible $146,000. So the next time you're handed change at a checkout counter, take a moment to look. You might just be holding more than a coin. You might be holding history. You might be holding a fortune. Top 2. We dive deep into one of the most intriguing pieces in the world of U.S. coinage, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. A coin that not only defied the odds of time, but carries a value that has stunned collectors and historians alike. The year 1965 was pivotal in American coinage. Prior to this date, quarters were made from 90% silver and 10% copper, a composition that made them both functional currency and a valuable source of precious metal. However, rising silver prices in the early 1960s put pressure on the U.S. Treasury. It became unsustainable to keep minting silver coins when the metal value alone exceeded the face value of the coin. So, in 1965, a historic shift occurred. The U.S. Mint stopped producing silver quarters and introduced the clad composition, layers of copper and nickel bonded together. It was a seismic change in the world of numismatics, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. But, as with any massive transition, errors and anomalies can, and did, occur. And that's where the story of the 1965 Washington quarter gets truly fascinating. While the official line is that number 1965 quarters were struck on silver planchets, a handful of examples have surfaced that defy that rule. Imagine finding a 1965 quarter that, when weighed, tips the scale at 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams. It looks the same, feels the same, but under scrutiny, it's a ghost from the past. A coin struck on a leftover 1964 silver planchet, a relic that was never meant to exist. These coins weren't supposed to make it out of the mint, but a few did, slipping quietly into circulation and vanishing into people's pockets, drawers, or jars, unnoticed for years. Now picture the excitement that erupts when one of these coins is discovered. Collectors go wild. Numismatists rush to authenticate and appraise. It's like striking gold, literally. Beyond the silver planchet errors, some 1965 quarters are prized for other mint mistakes, like off-center strikes, double dies, and coins that were accidentally struck on foreign planchets. These variations add incredible value, turning what might appear to be an ordinary coin into something that commands attention, curiosity, and in some cases, an incredible price tag. But even if you don't stumble upon a silver-struck anomaly, finding a 1965 Washington quarter in pristine condition, especially one graded mint state 67 or higher, is an extraordinary feat. Remember, these coins were meant for daily use. They were tossed into soda machines, clattered in change purses, and jostled around in cash registers for decades. A coin that survived all of that in near-perfect condition is a modern miracle. And because 1965 was the first year of the new clad composition, well-preserved examples hold even more weight historically. It was the beginning of the modern quarter as we know it, and collectors recognize its importance. Let's also not forget the cultural backdrop of 1965. America was undergoing massive changes, socially, politically, and economically. The Vietnam War escalated, the civil rights movement surged forward, and the nation launched itself deeper into the space race. The coin minted in that year doesn't just carry monetary history, it carries the emotions, conflicts, and milestones of an entire generation. Each scratch or mark on its surface could be from the pockets of someone who marched for equality, wrote letters from overseas, or danced at the dawn of the counterculture movement. That is the power of a coin. It holds more than metal. It holds moments. Now imagine owning a coin that has it all: scarcity, perfection, historical context, and mystery. A coin like the 1965 Washington quarter that managed to escape unnoticed from the U.S. Mint, preserving its rare characteristics and remaining untouched by time. A coin that has ignited fierce bidding wars and whispered rumors in auction rooms. When such a coin surfaces, it doesn't sell, it stuns. And one such remarkable 1965 Washington quarter, struck with an anomaly, preserved immaculately, and recognized as an extremely rare piece of American numismatic heritage, did just that. When it finally crossed the auction block, it achieved a value that seemed unimaginable for a coin that originally cost just 25 cents. That single, humble quarter sold for an astounding $146,000. So, the next time you hold a coin in your hand, don't just glance and spend it. Look closer. You might be holding a piece of forgotten history. You might be holding a story. And if you're truly lucky, you might just be holding a fortune. Top 3. In the world of American coin collecting, some of the greatest treasures aren't hidden behind glass displays in museums or locked away in vaults. They're tucked inside pockets, rattling around in jars, or forgotten in dresser drawers. One such unassuming piece of metal is the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1988. At first glance, this coin might appear ordinary. You've likely seen one. You may have even spent one. It bears the same familiar image of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, a design that had remained largely unchanged for decades. But not all 1988 quarters are created equal, and one in particular has stunned collectors with a value that most people could never imagine. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932, celebrating the 200th birthday of the nation's first president. By 1988, this design had become a staple in American currency, a common sight in every purse, pocket, and cash register across the country. But during the late 1980s, as coin minting technology evolved and production demands increased, rare errors and variations sometimes found their way into circulation. That's where the magic happens for collectors. When a standard issue coin diverges, even slightly, from the norm, it can quickly become a hot commodity. The 1988 Washington quarter has drawn attention for several reasons. While millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, only a small handful are known to possess striking errors or unusual characteristics. Some examples were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for other coins, such as the dime or foreign denominations. Others display dramatic doubling effects, off-center strikes, or even rare transitional features that make them stand out from the crowd. These small mistakes, barely visible to the naked eye, can make a massive difference in a coin's value. Collectors are particularly drawn to coins that are not only rare in terms of their errors, but also remain in pristine condition. A 1988 quarter that has survived the test of time without significant wear, retaining its luster and sharp details, is an incredible find. Most coins, after all, pass through thousands of hands, vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers before they're finally retired. But a flawless or nearly flawless coin from 1988, untouched by the wear of circulation, is something truly special. To appreciate the full worth of such a coin, you also have to understand the role that historical and cultural context plays in numismatics. In 1988, the United States stood at the close of the Cold War. Technology was rapidly advancing, the economy was shifting, and American culture was evolving in ways that would shape the decades to come. The coins minted during this time reflect a nation on the brink of transformation, still rooted in tradition, but looking ahead to the future. A coin from 1988 doesn't just represent money. It's a time capsule, preserving the essence of an era. Now imagine discovering one of these rare 1988 Washington quarters. Perhaps it's nestled in a forgotten coin jar, or hidden in the change you got at the grocery store. To most people, it would appear like any other coin. But to a trained eye, or to someone who takes the time to examine its details, it might reveal itself to be a numismatic gem. These coins are examined under high magnification, weighed with precision, and tested for their metal composition. When one meets the strict standards of rarity, error, and flawless condition, its value skyrockets. And this is exactly what happened with one extraordinary 1988 Washington quarter. It was discovered, authenticated, and entered into auction. Collectors from around the country, and even the world, recognized its significance. The bidding was fierce, the anticipation high, and when the final bid was cast and the gavel fell, the value of that single quarter was recorded in history. It was sold for an astonishing $116,000. Next time you get change from a store, don't be so quick to spend it. Take a closer look at your quarters, especially those dated 1988. You might just be holding a small treasure, one that could turn your spare change into a life-changing sum. The magic of coin collecting lies not only in history and beauty, but in the thrill of discovery. And sometimes, the greatest fortunes come in the smallest, most unexpected forms. Top 4. Imagine holding in your hand a coin so ordinary in appearance that you wouldn't think twice about using it to pay for a cup of coffee. A coin so common it may have passed through thousands of hands, rattled in coin jars, been lost in couch cushions, or flicked into a fountain for a quick wish. And yet, this very coin, the Washington quarter dollar from 1974, might just be one of the most astonishing hidden gems in the world of American currency. What makes it extraordinary is not immediately visible, but within the details of its design, its production, and the passage of time lies a story that has captivated collectors and historians alike. Let's take a journey into the world of numismatics, the study and collection of currency, where even the smallest variation or oversight can turn pocket change into a collector's prize. The 1974 Washington quarter stands as a testament to that phenomenon. First, it helps to understand the context of the Washington quarter itself. Since 1932, this coin has honored the legacy of George Washington, bearing his portrait on the obverse, a stoic, confident representation of the first president of the United States. The reverse of the coin features an eagle with wings spread wide, a powerful national symbol representing strength and vigilance. In 1974, America was in the midst of change. Economically, politically, and socially, it was a turbulent time. The Vietnam War was coming to a close, the Watergate scandal was dominating headlines, and inflation was beginning to shape the everyday lives of Americans. But within the hustle of daily minting at the U.S. Mint facilities, something rare and unexpected occurred. Not all coins minted in that year were created equal. A few 1974 quarters, just a few among millions, were produced with subtle errors or struck under rare circumstances that would later make them incredibly valuable. These rare anomalies often involve minting errors. Some quarters might be struck on the wrong metal planchets, perhaps on a leftover planchet from a previous year or even from a different denomination. Others might feature what's called a double die, where elements of the coin's design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the striking process. Then there are off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins that display unique textures due to metal composition variations. These coins are unintentional masterpieces, born not out of design but out of chance. Now, fast forward to the present. With the passage of decades, many of these rare quarters have disappeared into circulation, lost to time. But those few that survived, especially those kept in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, and preserved in their original brilliance, have become objects of great desire among collectors. Professional grading services now authenticate and grade coins based on condition and rarity, and those with the highest grades and most distinct errors are often sold at prestigious coin auctions for jaw-dropping prices. But why would anyone pay a fortune for a 25-cent coin? The answer lies in rarity, history, and the excitement of discovery. Collectors are not just buying a coin, they are investing in a unique piece of American heritage. Every mint error tells a story. Every misstrike is a fingerprint of a moment that passed unnoticed at the U.S. Mint, only to be revealed years later by a keen-eyed enthusiast. Owning such a coin is like possessing a rare piece of art, one that was never meant to exist, but now tells a powerful story. So, what about that 1974 Washington quarter? While millions were minted that year, only a tiny handful emerged with the right combination of error, condition, and preservation to reach an elite tier. These are coins that stand apart, drawing intense interest from collectors who know exactly what to look for. One such example, certified by a reputable grading agency and displaying a combination of rarity and mint brilliance, stunned experts and buyers alike when it was placed up for auction. That particular 1974 Washington quarter dollar was sold for a staggering $136,000. Yes, a coin once worth just 25 cents now holds a value greater than most luxury cars. This isn't just a coin. It's a piece of living history, proof that even the most unassuming objects can carry stories, secrets, and tremendous worth. So, the next time you empty your pockets or sort through spare change, don't overlook those well-worn coins. Because hidden among them could be a treasure waiting to be discovered, just like the remarkable Washington quarter from 1974. Top 5. Every once in a while, something extraordinary hides in plain sight. It may sit quietly in your drawer, rattle at the bottom of a jar, or slide casually across a shop counter. We're talking about coins, ordinary to most, but potentially priceless to those who understand their hidden stories. Among the countless coins minted by the United States, one in particular has sparked curiosity, excitement, and fascination in the hearts of collectors: the 1986 Washington quarter dollar. A coin you might have dismissed as just another piece of loose change could, in fact, be worth a fortune beyond your wildest imagination. To appreciate why the 1986 Washington quarter holds such intrigue, we first need to understand the coin's lineage. Since 1932, the Washington quarter has been a symbol of American pride and historical remembrance, celebrating the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's founding father. His dignified profile on the obverse has stood the test of time. Meanwhile, the reverse of the quarter from 1986 continues to display the striking image of a bald eagle with outstretched wings, perched atop a bundle of arrows, symbols of preparedness and strength surrounded by olive branches representing peace. What makes the 1986 version stand out? At first glance, it may not seem much different from any other quarter. Millions were minted that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, not all 1986 quarters are created equal. Some, just a precious few, emerge with rare features that make them dazzling treasures in the eyes of numismatists. These include minting errors, die varieties, and conditions so flawless that even the most seasoned collectors do a double take. Imagine a coin struck not once but twice by the die, leading to a doubled image, an error known as a double die. Or picture a quarter minted on the wrong planchet, perhaps from a different denomination altogether. Then there are coins with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even variations in the metal composition that subtly shift the color or weight of the coin. These are not flaws in the traditional sense. To collectors, they are the accidents that turn a common object into a rare specimen. The quirks born in a fleeting moment at the mint can elevate a quarter from pocket change to museum piece. Beyond errors, there is the question of condition. A 1986 quarter that has remained untouched by time, brilliant, lustrous, and nearly perfect, holds immense value. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC assess coins based on minute details, awarding higher values to coins with sharp design, no scratches, and strong eye appeal. The grading scale, which peaks at 70, can turn a regular 25-cent coin into a six-figure masterpiece if it earns a high score and displays unique characteristics. Stories have emerged of lucky individuals discovering such coins in old collections, change rolls, or inherited boxes that sat undisturbed for decades. For most, these are just coins. For a collector, they represent history, rarity, and the excitement of the hunt. A 1986 Washington quarter that might look like every other at first glance could contain features so rare, so unique, that its value skyrockets and the collector's market point. One such example shook the numismatic community. A nearly flawless 1986 quarter, boasting a rare mint error and exceptional condition, was professionally graded and authenticated. As word spread, interest from collectors grew rapidly. When it finally made its way to a prestigious coin auction, the final hammer price stunned even the most seasoned experts. That extraordinary 1986 Washington quarter dollar sold for a jaw-dropping $123,000. That's right, a coin originally worth just 25 cents reached a value of $123,000. This isn't just about metal or money. It's about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. So before you dismiss the change in your pocket or the coins in that old piggy bank, take a closer look. One of them might just be the next hidden gem, waiting quietly for the right person to uncover its extraordinary story.